Howdy folks, this is
Hi there.
Dr. Singh and I'm Alfred Hauk, and this is our weekly vlog, I guess we'll call it.
Yes, weekly vlog.
2-3 minutes of chatting about naturopathic medicine that we hope you'll find interesting. We wanted to touch a little bit today on a very common family of health issues that we see in our clinic a lot, and that is things related to irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowels. I mean, I think it's a common thing in our society. It's secondary consequence of our poor diet, but also stress. Chronic stress really, it hits our gut really hard. Even lack of activity is very hard on our digestive system. So, tell me a little bit about what would you do if someone comes in and complains of some kind of digestive issues?
So certainly, and I think, Alf, because you've touched on IBS, maybe that's kind of where I'll focus the discussion. And the first thing is that I think, when someone comes in and says, I have IBS, we definitely will do our due diligence to verify, is that really what's going on? So I think as NDs, we like to do our thorough intake and verify, okay, is this really a situation of irritable bowel? Once we've established that, you're totally right on the stress angle, because they call the gut the second brain. And I don't know, is it like 75% of serotonin receptors are in our gut?
Right, huge amount.
So definitely that component is going to be a large part of addressing irritable bowel. The way at least that I envision irritable bowel physiologically is that there's a disruption in the tonicity in that smooth muscle, right? So some individuals may experience constipation, some individuals get diarrhea, and then there's a subset where they're alternating, right, between constipation and diarrhea, the atonic state, the over-relaxed, and that can be even stimulated or triggered by, if you will, like a stress response, right? So we're going to look at addressing stress. So we're going to look at potentially B vitamins, adaptogenic support. I know one thing I learned from you early on in my career, about 20 years ago, was encapsulated peppermint oil, which I now use very successfully again because of your teachings. The encapsulated peppermint oil will help to normalize the tonicity of that intestinal tract. And when taken between meals, not for every single case, but we do see that it starts to, help out in now they're not getting the alternating constipation and diarrhea as much. Probiotics are often going to be a part of the discussion. And then fourth, as you mentioned already, ruling out food sensitivities. That's a huge component with irritable bowel. And what have you found? Have you found that as well?
I find, anything that ends in the word syndrome is always a bit of a touchy area. Because syndrome is basically usually a family of symptoms that can't be nailed down to any specific pathology. So when you have a syndrome, you can get people that come in with IBS and yet present in different ways. So
absolutely,
what you mentioned earlier is right on. You have to treat each individual case as the unique person they are. It's not like they're having colitis, which is a pathology. They're having a syndrome, which is a different thing. And in many ways, I think as naturopathic doctors, treating those unique syndromes with their unique personal characteristics and flavors that everyone brings to the table, I think is one of our strengths, because we're so patient-based.
Absolutely.
We spend time, we really do our homework, we really work with that person. And so it's kind of cool helping them put their owner's manual together and figuring out how they're going to move from whatever condition they're in towards, optimum health. And so I just wanted to share that. I think it's interesting. All the things you mentioned are good, and we have a big list of possibilities that some people will really respond to. So.
And you always talk about giving them charge and ownership, taking charge of their health, right? And it's wonderful that, again, in this situation of irritable bowel, that humbly speaking, we can actually do a lot of good with, and it's a very uncomfortable thing, when you don't have control over certain things, especially like digestion.
Yeah, it's huge.
We see individuals who are afraid to go out. They have to plan everything. They have to plan where the exits are, where the washrooms are, so that does impact on their ability to their quality of life.
Yeah.
So giving them charge of, okay, what can you do with your diet? what are the key nutritional supplements you can take. And again, we do all of that keeping in mind that we have an individual sitting in front of us, not that we're kind of, okay, everyone who comes in with this is what we do.
Yeah. No, it's very good. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, how many years have you been doing this now?
It'll be now 20.
20 years.
Well, officially next May 2021
Yeah.
will be 20 years.
That's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
It's been a good adventure.
Yeah, and you've managed to, what's the word? You've been patient with me all these years, and you haven't got annoyed with me for 20
we've
years.
had a lot of fun together.
We have.
Anyway, that's a little intro to some thoughts on one issue that we deal with, irritable bowel, and there's so many more, and we'll hopefully keep sharing some interesting tidbits that you find, of informative. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.